Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. In today's video we're going to be taking a look at another figure from the vintage collection, and in today's review we are going to take a look at a character who I'm not all that familiar with myself, but who seems to have made a lasting impression on the Star Wars fandom. She's the star of her own comic book. She's just appeared in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge issue 4, and it is of course none other than this one. This is Dr. Aphra. Now, as I say, I'm not all that familiar with her myself, but she seems to have made a lasting impression on other Star Wars fans, so much so that she's made an appearance 3 times in the Star Wars action figure line by Hasbro. She was first released as part of a San Diego Comic Con exclusive special action figure set, alongside her droids BT-1 and 000. She was then released in the vintage collection, which is of course the figure that we're taking a look at today, and alongside BT-1 and 000 again, she's been released in the Black Series 6-inch line. So a really cool character. I have read a few comics where she stars in them, but again I'm not all that familiar with her backstory. I haven't read everything from issue 1 right up to the current issues, but I'm familiar with who she is and what her role in the Star Wars universe is, and we'll touch base on that later on in the review. Before we do, as always, let's take a look at the packaging that Dr. Aphra comes in. Once again, we do have, as part of the vintage collection, that really nice retro card design. As you can see with this particular figure, because she doesn't appear in any of the Star Wars movies, you've just got the generic Star Wars logo at the top of the card, which I absolutely love. I think this is probably one of my favourite vintage cards, to be honest. They don't come much more retro than this. Absolutely love that logo on the top of the card. Got the Dr. Aphra name pill down at the bottom, and then on the back there you will see this really cool artwork of Dr. Aphra herself with the droids BT-1, who's the astromech, and 000, the protocol droid, come assassin droid, just off in the distance there. Got the Kenner logo down in the bottom corner, and then on the back you've got some other figures available in the vintage collection. Once again, some of these have been picked up and I will be reviewing them soon. Enfys Nest, Han Solo, the Range Trooper for example. Others I've picked up and kept carded, such as Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi, and Dr. Aphra is of course the subject of today's review. So really nice card, definitely one that I'm considering picking up and adding to my carded collection. Obviously this one was an opener because I wanted to add Aphra to my display behind me, but a really nice card, definitely a worthy highlight for carded collectors to pick up. So that is the packaging that this figure comes in. Now let's take a look at the figure itself. For the most part, this is superb. This is Hasbro at its best in many ways, because they've really gone to town on the detail, the sculpt and the articulation of this figure. As I've said in previous reviews, I'm thrilled that the vintage collection is back, because it means we get premium details and absolutely superb articulation. So with that in mind, let's run through the articulation that she has first. She does feature a ball joint at the head. She has hinges at the shoulders and elbows. She features a swivel at the wrist, however the wrist is very thin. Usually I'd have complained that that wasn't a ball hinge, but I think if a hinge had been put in place there, I think over time that would have probably snapped and broken, and that's not what we really want. So a swivel works fine in this instance. She does feature a ball joint at the upper torso. She has hinges at the hips, swivels at the upper thigh, hinges in the knees and hinges in the ankle. So you can get this one in some really cool poses. Unfortunately the peg holes on the bottom of Dr. Aphra's feet aren't deep enough to stand her up on an action figure stand, so she does tend to topple and fall over quite a bit. She's not the sturdiest of figures, but if you get it just right, you get the pose just right, this one won't have a problem standing on your shelf. Sculpt on this one is fantastic. I really love the detail that's gone into the outfit. It's very faithful to the one that she's seen wearing in her Marvel comics. As you can see, she's got this really cool orange vest. She's got the pinstripe pants, very similar to Han Solo. Nice details on the buckles there on the boots. And of course she does feature a working holster for her blaster pistol, which she does come with, and as you can see, once again, very similar to Han Solo's. She also features this flight cap with goggles sculpted onto it. Unfortunately this isn't removable, but it is on the Black Series version, so that's something to look out for. And the head sculpt is really nice. Obviously Dr. Aphra hasn't been portrayed yet on screen by an actress, so the sculpt that they've gone with here is a faithful representation of the likeness from the Marvel Comics series. For those of you that aren't particularly familiar with Dr. Aphra, from what I gather, and I may have got this completely wrong, so do feel free to correct me if I am a little bit mistaken, but she's a archaeologist. In many ways, she's essentially the Star Wars Indiana Jones, and she works alongside Darth Vader. And from the comics that I've read, the story that I've started to put together is the fact that she works with Darth Vader in order to piece together clues and collect artifacts that will lead them to solving who Luke Skywalker is following the destruction of the first Death Star. That's just from what I've read. As I said, I might have got the completely wrong end of the stick from that story, but it's only a small segment of Aphra's backstory that I've read, so there we go. She also features this really cool tattoo design on her arm, which, as you can see, is representative of sort of a circuit board or something like that. It's this circuit wire-like pattern, which looks very cool. I'd love to know what that's supposed to represent. Again, this may have been touched upon in the comics, but I've just not got to that point yet. But given the fact that she does come with two absolutely kick-ass droids, the comics are something that I'd definitely like to read more of and find out more about this character. But just based on looks alone, this is a worthy addition to the collection. I love bounty hunters and all the sort of lesser known weird and wonderful characters from Star Wars, so this figure fits right at home amongst those. At the moment I've got her in place with my comic and expanded universe figures. So in many ways, I guess you could say that they could have used the Expanded Universe logo on the vintage card. However, because Dr. Aphra and all of the Marvel characters now are considered canon, I guess Legends and Expanded Universe doesn't really work there. But it is what it is. The card looks fantastic, as does the figure, and this is definitely one that I would recommend picking up. I'm a fan of it, and I think you guys will be as well. So that is Dr. Aphra from the Vintage Collection. Very cool figure, really cool character, and again, can't wait to find out more about this one. So if you want to add this figure to your own collection, she's currently available in a couple of ways. If you're in the UK, The Entertainer currently have this one in stock in their stores, and they're selling it for an absolutely bargain price of just £6. Alternatively, if you can't track this one down in store, hit the link in the video description, as that will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, where at the time of filming this review, this figure is still in stock and available to buy, and as part of the upcoming summer sale, the SDCC special action figure set featuring the droids is about to come up for a very nice price, so keep your eyes peeled on that one as well. So in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed watching this review. I will be back with some more very soon. I've got that really cool Vintage Collection Rogue One Stormtrooper to give you a look at, plus many other figures from the Vintage Collection, as well as the Black Series 6-inch line and beyond. So make sure you stay tuned for all of those, guys. I'll be back very soon. Until then, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.